Something we say here all the time is anything we do it with intention. We're not opening up a restaurant to serve you something that you can get in the freezer section of Dillon's. That's not what we're here to do. We're opening up something that has our own flair, our own taste, and everything here is done from scratch. The biggest lesson I've learned is to be adaptable. You really, and like we talked about, you just have to pivot, right? You have to be able to pivot on a dime. I love Manhattan, but everything here is Little Apple this or Wildcat that, and we just needed to be something a little different, needed to push that envelope still. We wanted to build a brand that felt like it could go regional if we wanted to, or just even to some of the other major cities across the state. The name is obviously a big part of that.
What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, here with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got a very special guest here with me. I've been trying to get him on for about a year now. He finally agreed to jump on the camera with me, but I've got Tanner Hockenbury with Full Circle. Tanner, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Kyle. Finally got it. It's been a while. It's been a busy year, but we're happy to finally be on.
Yeah, no, and I get it, man. I mean, first full year in the business, it gets to be a lot. That's for sure. So, Tanner, let's dive in, man, and tell me a little bit about what life looked like for you before Full Circle, and then I want to dive into what prompted you to start here.
Yeah. So Tanner Hockenbury. I'm from Lawrence, Kansas, so not too far down the way. Been very familiar with Manhattan my entire life. Went to college out here, which is what brought me to Manhattan. Met a few really great people, two of my business partners now, Michael Chin and Cameron Williams. Met them while I was here in school, and then we both kind of went separate ways post-graduation. And I ended up in Kansas City, where I was working for a real estate development firm, a historic redevelopment firm, redeveloping old abandoned buildings and turning them into like luxury hotels, boutique apartment complexes, things like that. But during my time while doing that, I was always still in the cocktail scene and in the restaurant industry, moonlighting at several different cocktail bars and restaurants in Kansas City. And I think I really just knew that this was always the path I wanted to do. I'd been in the restaurant industry since I was 16, and I really felt like a sense of community that I hadn't really felt in any other industry I worked. So yeah, I mean, that's really what kind of got me started in this industry. And then, you know, I was in Kansas City for a few years, and I get a call from Michael Chin, and he mentions that the old Hunan space down in Aggieville is getting ready to go out of business, and said, "Hey, would you?" We'd always talked about opening up a restaurant together. He said, "Well, now's a great time. There's a space with the just pretty much not move-in ready, but it has a kitchen, it has a hood, so we can do the rest." And from there, we had a lot of long nights, and then brought on our other business partner, Cam, because he's our head chef and kind of runs the menu side of things, and we knew we needed someone who could put a lot of focus and love and energy into that. But yeah, it just, the opportunity came about, and I said, why not? Let's come back to Manhattan, Kansas. It's a great little spot to be, and a couple years later, here we are.
Yeah. No, and I love that. And I think it's a neat opportunity what you guys have done here with it. I guess talk to us a little bit about what the feel of the diner is, right? Like it's the breakfast, it's the cocktails, but you also, I think the thing, like I'm looking at a wall here of all old records, like actual vinyl and things that way. So what made you make that decision to go back for that retro feel?
Yeah, I think just like being from Lawrence, and also had living in Kansas City for a few years, and just being around that kind of eclectic culture, I knew whatever I wanted to bring to Manhattan, I wanted it to have that same eclectic vibe and feel. I didn't really want just another restaurant with an oak bar. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think we have a lot of that in Manhattan. And I think it was just time to really kind of flip the script and push the envelope a little bit. And, you know, I think that's what we did here. We're definitely not even close to being done with what we want to do with the space. But I knew that I wanted it to be a multi-use space. I knew to survive in a small town like this, you have to be a multifaceted business, and just slapping white paint on a wall and hanging a few photos just doesn't allow you that flexibility to really to really get into different aspects. Like we do cocktails at night, we do dinner now. We have a rooftop where we do live music. I think if we didn't have this same vibe, we wouldn't be able to quite hone in on those sort of aspects of the business. And I think it's, like I said, it's really important in a economy such as Manhattan. You can't just be a one factor business. You really have to be able to jump around and do a bunch of different things in order to survive around here. And I think we're set up and stationed just to do that. And the retro vibe and the blue paint on the walls and the records and the gorgeous back bar that we have here and the window to the kitchen are just all those like little minute pieces that you might not think about when you're first starting a business, but when you put them all together, it's really cool to have people come in here and just eyes wide open and go, wow, this place is really neat. Even if you don't have the best experience here, you're going to leave, which you will have the best experience here, but you're going to leave at least with like the note of, okay, yeah, let's give another try. This restaurant's really cool. They've got something going on. They obviously have a passion for what they're doing. So it's just like these little details. Everything matters, especially in this industry. And I think we've done a really good job of trying to put those small details in. And like I said, we're not even remotely close to being done with that.
No, and I think that there's, it's one of those things, and I think you said it too, right? You're setting yourself apart a little bit, and there's no other space that I know of that has this types of colors, that has the cocktails, has the breakfast, has the dinner. Like, you give a lot of a full circle moment of it all, exactly. Right? So I guess there it is on that end of it. But yeah, I guess I would attest to it. Like what you guys have here is really fun. It's a really unique space that you have the opportunity to kind of have a part. And let's be real, Hunan's was an iconic place in Aggieville for a long time. So for you guys to come in and take this space and make it your own is really fantastic. Yeah. So, and I am curious too, other than the fact that what I just gave you, maybe that's where it comes from, but the name Full Circle, where did that come about?
Yeah, so I think the name Full Circle has a different meaning for each one of the owners, but for me personally, when I came here, I actually used to live above Hunan's and the apartments right behind here. Yeah, and I mean, there's step one. And then Michael Chen and I had, in 2018, thought about opening up a breakfast restaurant at one of his buildings on 14th and Laramie. And it just, with COVID hitting, construction, everything just got delayed, so that never happened. But it was always in our mind that Manhattan needed another breakfast restaurant or something to in Aggieville to get that morning routine going down here for everybody. And then I met Cam when I was working at Nico's. We opened up Nico's together as team members there, and so then we all went our separate ways, and then all of a sudden there's this full circle moment where the place I lived below, that's been open since the 80s, closes, and we start making phone calls and getting together, and all of a sudden there's this full circle moment where Cam had moved to Colorado. I had been in Kansas City. We were both very content and happy with our lives, but we decided to shake things up and move back here. So that's what Full Circle means to me. It has so many different meanings, though. I've actually really, obviously I've loved the name since we opened the place, but I've grown to just love it more and more every day because it just has so many points in life where you can point to, and you're sitting here and you go, yeah, it's a full circle moment. The amount of people I met here back when I was in college, and now all of a sudden I'm meeting them here, and it's just all these full circle moments all the time. It's a really cool thing. I think the name's unique for a restaurant especially, and it's we wanted it to be something a little different too. We didn't want it to be, I love Manhattan, but everything here is Little Apple this or Wildcat that, and we just needed to be something a little different, needed to push that envelope still, and we wanted to build a brand that felt like it could go regional if we wanted to, or just even to some of the other major cities across the state. And the name is obviously a big part of that.
No, I love that. And I love a name that has some meaning behind it other than Little Apple, whatever. Not saying there's anything bad with it, but having some meaning behind it is a big one. So I love that. Tanner, you've mentioned a couple different times about pushing the envelope and doing something different and being bold and being retro with what we have and all that stuff. So what have you guys been able to do here at Full Circle to set yourselves apart from any normal run-of-the-mill breakfast joint or any run-of-the-mill cocktail joint?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we can kind of look back at how restaurants were, at least when I was growing up. Restaurants in like the late '90s, early 2000s, we really started to hit this problem of everything being frozen and fried. I like to call it the old Cisco special. Everything boil in a bag and ready to rock and roll. But and that's a problem everywhere, especially in towns in Kansas where we're working class people, and quick, easy, cheap is always the thing. I know I grew up the same way. The Applebee's, the Chili's, the Olive Gardens of the world. I think that as a society, we're really starting to shift away from that and realize that fresh local ingredients, and then just beyond that, anything made fresh is kind of the direction that we're starting to move into. Keep watching what's in our bodies, watching what we intake, and so I think a big thing that growing up in Lawrence, that was always kind of the vibe. Was fresh local restaurants, really want to support local, do everything local, and Manhattan is very similar in that regards. We just do it on a much smaller scale. So coming here, we knew, Cam and I and Michael, we all knew that what we wanted to do was step one. Something we say here all the time is anything we do it with intention, which means we're not opening up a restaurant to serve you something that you can get in the freezer section of Dillon's. That's not what we're here to do. We're opening up something that has our own flair, our own taste, and everything here is done from scratch, right? Our sauces, our sausage alone is why we buy it in ground. Then we do our own seasoning blend on it, so it's something you can't get anywhere else. All of our meals here are all of our baking is done from scratch, minus the breads. But even then, we make sure to go and find the highest quality breads you can get. So just that's kind of like us pushing the envelope there on the food. Everything we do here in this kitchen's from scratch. We have a giant window into our kitchen for that reason. You come in on a Wednesday when we're heavy prep day, you'll see the kitchen back there just grinding out prep all day long. You smell the biscuits cooking, you smell the cinnamon rolls, you see the pico being made, and you see the waffle batter being done up. So there's that. That's the food section of it. On top of that, we wanted to be a little different, and I come from a cocktail background in Kansas City, so we really wanted to add a cocktail factor to this and bring a little more nightlife for the adults in Manhattan. And that was kind of why we decided to do this giant, gorgeous back bar here. We wanted you to walk in and realize, okay, they do more than just food. They can really do almost any cocktail you want. We also have a gorgeous wine selection. We're probably one of the only spots in the state of Kansas where you can, at 8 a.m., you can come and get a true Mai Tai or Grenache, red wine. It's far and few between where that's even like the surrounding area that's possible. So, we do things like that. And then on top of that, we also have late night concerts on Thursday night starting this summer on our rooftop. And we do dinner now where we have things like a half roasted chicken or a thick bone-in pork chop, or a vegetarian chili with house-made cornbread with it. So that's kind of our version of pushing the envelope beyond just what we talked about with the vibe of the interior vibe of the restaurant. We go like a step deeper, and everything we do is with intention. It's from scratch, and it's meant to be something that you can't just get at your own home.
I think I love that, because I think that you said it earlier in the sense that you don't want to be another restaurant that just getting frozen foods, or what'd you call it, the Cisco?
Oh, Cisco special.
The Cisco special. That's right. You don't want to necessarily have that. So I think that we are as a culture in general are coming into the fact of understanding, putting in fried foods in your body every single day is not necessarily a good thing. Not necessarily a bad thing, but every day is not a good thing. So. But no, I love that. I love that you guys are being able to, or trying to do something different, right? Being different than the norm of what you typically see down here. So I love that. And I think, I guess for me, I'm curious too, how has that been received from the community itself, and how much, obviously, how much activity are you guys getting in here? I mean, it seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think the community's received us really well. We're coming up on 2 years here. I think our reviews in Google alone say a lot about the passion we put into it. I think people have really realized that we're not just another restaurant, and we really care about what we're doing. And that, once again, I can point to this a lot during this interview, but we have a window to our kitchen for a reason. We have nothing to hide. This whole restaurant is a shotgun. You can see front to back. There's besides the restrooms, there's really no hiding in here. So that's the community. I think they come in and they see that, yeah, these guys are trying to do it different. We took what I called a concrete prison with stainless steel bathrooms and cinder block walls, and we turned it into this vibrant third space for everybody. So we hope it's clear to everyone that we're doing everything with the intention of bettering Aggieville and bettering the community. And I think thus far, the community has really received us. And I would say we have some of the best regulars you could possibly have. We have people come here 3 times a week and then sometimes 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So that's always been really cool to see and really interesting. And that's something I haven't really, working in this industry for so long, I haven't quite had the community that I think we've grown here at this specific restaurant. And so I think that's something that's been really fun to see. So yeah, you guys have been great to us, and we just continue to be here for a really long time with that. And we're going to keep pushing the envelope and changing things as they need. We try to think of ourselves as owners that are in touch with the community and understand if we're not doing something right, let's pivot and let's change. We have no problem pivoting on a dime and doing what we feel the community needs rather than just what we think we need.
Yeah. No, and I think that's important too, is feeling and listening and hearing your community in that side of it. I would imagine that's why dinner started, right? Because there was probably a need for that, and there's people asking for that, and those people that want to be here, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes, exactly. We'll take them.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, and then I think having again, everybody can sling beers and stuff that way, but I think actually having a handcrafted cocktail is something that a lot of people don't, that you miss by not being in some of these bigger cities and stuff that way too. Exactly. You've talked about your hours have changed a little bit with opening up for dinner and things that way, but I want to give you an opportunity to anybody watching this that you have the ability to talk about hours, how to get a hold of you, and then see when we can get in here and maybe a private events, whatever that looks like. But what is the typical hours for you guys?
Yeah, so we right now are open Wednesday through Sunday. We do breakfast all the time, 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. We do lunch Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday during the week, and we do that 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., coinciding with the brunch menu. And then we have our new dinner menu, which is really awesome, really fun, and that goes Friday, Saturday evening from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then right now we're starting to do some rooftop concerts on Thursday nights, weather permitting, and that's going to pretty much will be open from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Music kind of switching depending on the band and how long their set is. But yeah, so I know we have some like crazy little hours, but we just want to make sure that we can do everything we want to do without absolutely destroying our staff or just our own mental sanity. In terms of like getting a hold of us, follow us on Instagram. That's always a great way to keep up with all of our live events that we do. We post very often, once, twice a week, if not more, and then on our stories all the time. That's just going to be Full Circle MHK. And then our website's going to have our email and our phone number on it, and that is going to be also just fullcirclemhk.com. So really simple there, nothing too crazy. And those are going to be the best ways to get a hold of us. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. It's going to be me who's answering you, not a chat bot or anything. So personal, and we can get you anything taken care of. We don't do a ton of events, like private events here, but we do have the rooftop available for stuff like that. You can also reach out to me, and we can try and get stuff set up there. We had a few grad parties this last weekend. That was really fun. Weather held out, thankfully. And but yeah, anything you need from me, you can just get us on our website or our social media. Also on Facebook as well, just Full Circle MHK as well. So
yeah. And then, do you guys have like cocktail hours, or that just runs through dinner?
That's just, yeah, so we do cocktails all the time. We have a full cocktail menu starting at 8 a.m. when we open, so that's pretty fun. I know I'm not opposed to a Mai Tai on a Wednesday at 8 a.m. I don't know what that says about me, but so be it. And then at night, yeah, we do our cocktails and wine as well. Obviously, a little bit easier to go and come in at night and grab a cocktail. But yeah, anytime the whole menu's flowing.
Awesome. I love that. So Tanner, you've got now coming up on 2 years under your belt. You're down here at the end of Aggieville. What has been, I guess let's just go this route and see kind of maybe a lessons learned or favorite moments kind of stuff with the restaurant.
Yeah, so I've been in the restaurant industry for a very long time, but this is the first one I've ever opened. And granted, I have two awesome partners who also, well, Michael Chin has their family restaurant, Chin's Chinese, so they had that, but it's a way different concept than what a full service restaurant is. And then this is Cameron's first time owning a restaurant as well. So definitely a lot of lessons learned. I mean, it's so hard to pinpoint just one. But the biggest lesson I've learned is to be adaptable. You really, and like we talked about, you just have to pivot, right? You have to be able to pivot on a dime. And when something's not working, you're losing a lot of money. And restaurants are already the smallest margins in any small business. Restaurants have the smallest margins, hands down. And so if you don't pivot on a dime, you're not positioning yourself for success in the future. So that's something we've really learned. In just kind of an example of that, which also ties into what I think my favorite moment here has been, was we did a really soft opening, which was really soft. We didn't mention it all, so it was really slow. It was kind of good to get the staff a little bit trained up. But then we went into a weekend where we just said, okay, we're open, let's do it, tell everybody. And we show up and there's a line out the door. Love the community support. We were not ready for that. We sold out of food. We had hour-long ticket times, and we just had to shut the restaurant. Gordon Ramsay style, we shut the restaurant down, said sorry to everybody, and we hope to see you guys again soon. And Cameron and I really sat down together and talked that evening and pivoted, figured out what went wrong, and then what we would call probably one of the worst days of our lives. And then we opened up the next day, and all of a sudden we're doing 25-minute ticket times, which now is still obviously way too long for us, but we cut those ticket times in half. We didn't shut down. We stayed open the entire time. We left with happy bellies, happy customers, and that, what I would say, was the best time that I've had here, and one of the greatest moments I've had, and just seeing our staff pivot with us and learn with us, and really just being able to adjust to adversity, and that was awesome. So I think that's the biggest lesson learned, and probably the highlight of my time in this restaurant. And then just all the great regulars we have, being able to know 20 people by name any given day when they're in here is just really fun, and that's been really fun for me. I consider myself a pretty personable guy, and that building a community has been really awesome to do here. And yeah, but I think that's high and low, and just learning to pivot at the snap of a finger is really important for us.
Yeah, man, I like that. And I think for a lot of people that don't necessarily know, that shows a lot of growth and maturity in just that one moment where you're like, okay, what went wrong? How do we fix it? And in less than 24 hours, you were able to go from hour-long ticket times to 25 minutes.
Yep.
Like that's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for you guys for having the wherewithal to sit down and be like, okay, hey, let's fix this. Because we wouldn't be having this conversation more than likely if you couldn't have it fixed. So, no, I love that, man. That's fantastic. Yeah. So. Good for you guys. And I love it. And I think it speaks, like I said, it does speak volumes to what you guys are building here and what you're doing, and having that community support and having that and continuing to get that too, I think is really important too. So I love that for you guys. Okay, so I kind of want to take it a little bit different, not much, but I guess let's talk. I've got two more questions before we kind of wrap everything out, but I want to ask the question of, everyone's always like, oh, I want to build, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow. What does the future look like for Full Circle?
Yeah, it's a good one. I too want to build and grow. I think this first 2 years has made me want to build and grow maybe a little bit slower, but also in the same sentence, maybe a little faster too. So yeah, the future for Full Circle, also with the colors and the branding and our social media and the name, I designed the restaurant and I designed it to be a brand that I can plop into Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, Oklahoma City, Wichita, really quickly, right? I wanted this brand to be adverse, and I can throw it there and they can go, oh my gosh, I've been to a Full Circle before in Manhattan. I've been to a Full Circle in Kansas City, because it's a very distinct brand. So definitely the place was built with the idea of growth in mind. That being said, obviously, just things have changed. Food cost is going through the roof right now and has been for a while, and that obviously just like slows our progression plan down a little bit. But that being said, there definitely is a progression plan for Full Circle. I think this brand could be a regional brand. But still keep that like very local feel. That was always the idea. The idea was never just to have one restaurant. I love this industry and I want to grow and I want to be able to visit all these restaurants and meet all these people and do all these things. And so yeah, the 5-year plan for Full Circle originally was by next year to start thinking and scouting another location. Is that still the plan? It's still definitely a part of the plan. I don't know if in the next 365 we'll be quite positioned to do exactly that, but I think who knows? Times move and change fast, and I hope we are. But yeah, the brand definitely was built with the idea of where else can we do this in Kansas or in the surrounding states. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's good, man. I mean, again, I think you have the right mindset with that too, in what you guys are doing here. So I hope, and I think it will, that you guys will do some good growth there. So, all right, final question before I kind of wrap everything up. And this is one of my favorite. I ask it all the time, and it's this. For anybody else that's watching this, whether it's someone else in the restaurant business, whether it's just a general entrepreneur in a different industry, whatever it may be, what is one piece of advice that you would give to that particular person as they're starting in their entrepreneurial journey?
I do love that question, and I said it earlier, and I think this is a really, really, really important piece of advice for any business, but especially in the restaurant industry, because we find a lot of people just jumping into the restaurant industry because they think it's easy money. Well, it's not, but that's not the piece of advice. If you really want to succeed, or at least if you don't succeed, to be proud about what you did, you need to do everything you do with intention. If you're not doing it with intention, then I don't think there's any point in doing it at all. I think the reason we have done so well for ourselves in such a short amount of time is because we really did it. We came in with a lot of intention of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to bring the community. If as a restaurant owner or a business owner, you just think that you just like pizza, so you open up a pizza restaurant. That's just, and you paint the walls white and you have no personality, you have no pizzazz, you have no life in there. And but you just have your pizza. It can work, but it's just not the way to go about it. So yeah, that's my piece of advice. Just for any business, do anything you're doing with intention, or just don't do it at all. Because if you truly love what you're doing, then put your full heart into it, and it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, if Full Circle doesn't work out tomorrow, I know I did something really awesome for this community, and I'm really proud about what we put on the table and the product. There's not one single thing I could look back and be like, man, I'm not proud about what I did. I think we've done a lot of things really well here, and we did everything with intention. And yeah, no matter what happens, we're proud. And so I think that's something I really live by. And that's that one piece of advice: do it with intention, my friends.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that, and it gets lost so many times where people, they get into something and they just kind of lose want to or drive for it too. But I think if you do it, like you said, with intention, I think that's a great piece of advice on that end of it. So, before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add to the video?
No, I think just that I just want to kind of shout out the restaurant community in Manhattan as a whole. I think we have a really awesome community, and it's the viewers like you that make it awesome. It's not just just the owners here. But we have some great, like Ben and Rachel over at Arrow or Skylar at Nico's. We just have a lot of people doing some really awesome things here and have some really bold and big ideas. So I would say, in order for places like that or places like us to really be able to capitalize on those bold, big ideas and continue to grow and make these really cool options for you guys, we just need you guys, the viewers and the customers, to come and support, because we have a really awesome community here in Manhattan that I think a lot of us are really proud to be a part of, and we want to keep serving you guys. That's what we're here to do. So I think as we wrap up this video, that's all I want to say is thank you to you guys and allowing us to open up funky, weird places like this and not be scared when you walk in and open the door and see all the Smurf blue walls and the records and everything. So we're just happy that you guys support us and all these other really awesome restaurateurs and business owners in this community.
No, I love that. That's awesome. No, I appreciate it. So, and again, I just want to say thank you again for letting me come in here today. I'm really glad that we were able to finally sit down and talk through some stuff here. So, and for you guys that are watching, I can't tell you enough. Like, I don't know that I was here day one, but I was definitely here like month one. Yeah, I was really early in here. My wife and I came in here for breakfast, and I still think about it. Like, it's fantastic food. The atmosphere, the vibe when you come in here is amazing. You can see the beautiful bar behind us, and just kind of the opportunity that you get to come in here. So I would recommend come in, take a look around, see what they've got, and just kind of see what they're doing. I mean, he said it a couple different times where pushing the envelope with this restaurant and with this cocktail lounge and what they have here is something it's different, right? It's something that they're doing here that gives the opportunity to bring a little bit something different to the town, bring a little bit different feel to the Aggieville area, and just kind of give that back to the community through food. I mean, I think that's the beauty of it all, right? I know. Good food, good cocktails. What more could you want? Good company, but you bring those with you. So, but come in here and see what Tanner and his group are doing, and kind of see about what they have to give you here at Full Circle, and what they can kind of show you there. So, Tanner, again, man, thank you so much for joining me today, and you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. As always, if you are watching this video and you made it this far, and if you like this content, please go and hit that subscribe button so you can get notified of any future content. And please, if you have anybody who's just interested in Full Circle and what they've got here, either one, share this video with them so they can hear a little bit about the man behind the restaurant, and the other two partners in there too. But on more than anything, share this video with them, and then show up. Right? Show your support by coming in here for lunch, coming in here for dinner, coming in here for breakfast. Or if you just want to come in and see one of these handmade cocktails and see them at work here, I would recommend coming in and see what they have. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, Tanner, thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you guys next time.